All right, what is up, everybody? Been a while, quite a long while since I've streamed anything on this channel. I figured, what the hey, kind of been creeping myself back into the tabletop hobby a bit. Um, it's been probably over 2 years since I've played uh a tabletop RPG. Well, let me rephrase that. It's been about 2 years or over 2 years since I played a tabletop RPG online with other people. I've played a couple solo games in between, and that's what we're going to be playing today is a solo game. As you can see on your screen, brain moving faster than my lips again. We'll be playing Thousand Year Old Vampire. This is a game by Tim Hutchings. It's a journaling game, solo play game. Uh, I know a lot of people, tinker with what is a RPG. Like most people think RPG, they think of characters and stats and leveling progression and fighting monsters and exploration. Um, and that's mainly because, most of us grew up in the age of video games, and that's what video game RPGs are. But in a general sense, a role playing game is just where you play a role. And the role you play in this game is a thousand-year-old vampire. Uh, but it's a journaling game where you create a character that ends up becoming a vampire. That happens right off the bat. I have played this before, and yeah, you go through different prompts by rolling a dice, or actually two dice. You roll a d10 and a d6. You take the difference, and that leads you to what prompt you're going to be doing. Yeah, and you just take it from there, and you kind of build out this long stretch of time where your vampire will move through time and like society changes and all that, and they forget things because they're so old. Some things just they lose track of, and they don't remember certain things about who they were because they've been alive for so long, being an immortal. But yeah, it's a really cool concept, a really cool game. I only own the PDF version of this game. I don't own the physical version. I've seen videos of people, flipping through the physical version of this book, and it's really nice design, nicely printed, and all that. Maybe one day I'll pick up the physical version. I usually tend to stick to digital versions of stuff if it's available because number one, it's cheaper. I ain't got it like that. And number two, it's easily accessible. It doesn't take up space. Uh, I got the space, but I got too much junk as it is. I don't need more books of tabletop stuff. Not that I got a huge collection of them, but I do in PDF. I have a huge PDF collection of tabletop books. I've spent a lot of money on uh, RPG stuff over the years, I should say. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fool. I'm a sucker for wanting to check out RPG stuff. I'll impulse buy PDFs of RPGs all the time. But we're gonna go ahead and get into this. We're gonna create a vampire first, and then get into doing the prompts. So if you never played this game, if you're interested in stuff like this, definitely stick around and check it out. Um, if you happen to be watching this on YouTube at a later time, I am streaming this live on Twitch. Uh, but so it'll probably be a longer video on YouTube. I don't know if I'll edit it down. I've gotten to a point in editing YouTube stuff that I don't ever want to do it anymore. Because live streaming is so much easier. You just live stream and you're done. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Thousand-Year-Old Vampire. This is the PDF version of it. You can see some of the artwork it's done. The layout of it's really cool. It's got a lot of these little images of newspapers and like old photographs and etchings put out in it like this right here. Really cool. Just love the overall design of this thing's great. Like I said, I've seen videos of people going through the physical version of this, and it's just an absolutely beautiful product. So here it tells you what you need to play. You need a 10-sided die, 6-sided die, and yeah, something to record your vampire story, such as paper, pen, word processor. We're going to be using a word processor. We're going to be using Google Docs today for ours. You could also just play it and, try to memorize everything you can. But you do need to keep track of your memories and skills and resources and all that because you lose those throughout the game, and you gain new ones. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and create a vampire here. Let me get to the vampire creation section. There we go. I go by Ms. Biz. Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in. Have you been on my streams before? Like I said, I don't remember. It's been so long. So if you have been by my streams before, good to see you. Or if I played with you before, it's good to see you. Let's see. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and create a vampire here. I'll be jumping between windows, so forgive me if something bleaks on and off screen. So for vampire creation, start by imagining a person in the distant past, a Roman emperor, a Mesopotamian midwife, a French knight. This person will become your vampire. Imagine when and where they were born, who they were in life. Start a memory with one experience that encapsulates their history. For instance, I am Henri, son of John, born near Loire Valley in the 13th century of our Lord. Or, I am a poor knight swindled out of my inheritance. Don't know the stream on my phone, but it's buffering a lot. Hope you have lots of fun. I appreciate that. Hopefully it's not on my end. I can't really monitor the stream so much, but yeah, if I kind of flick over on Twitch, it looks okay. So hopefully we're still good. I know my internet's not the greatest either, but I appreciate you stopping in. You heard that. All right, so we need to come up with a character to become our vampire. And I'm thinking, because it's 1,000 years, it doesn't have to be 1,000 years. You can shrink time, stretch time as you need it. There's no exact dates in the game. It doesn't say jump forward, 200 years exactly. It just says jump forward in time, or a long time, or a few generations. Yeah, let's figure out who we want to turn into a vampire. Somebody from maybe 13th century, 14th century. Last time I played this, I played it on my own, and I did a Native American, and that was pretty fun. Because I had to bring a Native American. They didn't make it all the way to the 20th century. They ended up dying before that. But yeah, the whole story arc was pretty fun. Like a Native American ended up becoming a vampire, and then had to escape not only his own tribe but like other tribes, and then ended up meeting the Spanish as the Spanish came over here. Then had to somehow fall in with English society when England started settling the U.S., and then ended up in England before coming back to the U.S. and then hiding in the same area, where his Native American tribe was, and then got betrayed and killed. That was the end of that story. I don't know why I'm bringing that up now, but yeah, just to give you an idea what kind of stories you could get out of this. So we need to come up with a memory that's going to encapsulate who our person is, and then give them a name. And we're going to go along with what it says in the PDF here of I am blank and blank, and this is who I am before you become a vampire. Let's see. 13th century, 14th century, around there. Would like a clergyman be cool to turn into a vampire? Or just a commoner? An explorer would be cool. But like, I'm sure there was a lot of exploration going on. I'm not too filled in on history. I do like history, but I'm not a font of knowledge when it comes to the history from back then. So I don't know exactly what was going on in every country back then. I know, 14th century, that's pre Columbus coming over to the New World. I don't know what was going on in Middle Eastern societies at the time. I'm pretty sure they had a large empire at that time. Was it the Ottomans already at that time? That controlled most of the Middle East. Um, I may go with something simple. Just say like an English serf or an English tanner or fisherman, maybe something simple. Actually, know it like an English noble sounds pretty good. Um, let's do that. Let's do that. We'll say I am just need a name. I mean, just a general name. Uh, maybe make them like the son of a duke or something like pretty high ranking noble. If anybody's in chat's got any ideas, you can throw out ideas and and I'll run with them if I can. Uh, for names, it's the hardest part with anything. Names. That's the problem with character creation and even video games. It takes me 2 hours to make a like. Oh man, like anybody that would watch somebody play an RPG, like they just bought an RPG at the store and played it on PlayStation or Xbox or even Super Nintendo back in the day. You know, you take like an hour just creating a character, and they're like, "You gonna play or not?" um, we'll just go with a simple name, John. Common English last name. I don't want to go with John Smith. That's too common. We'll go with Hauser. John Hauser. I am John Hauser, son of Duke. Okay, so if he's John Hauser, he's going to be John Hauser the third. The fourth. John Hauser the fourth. Son of Duke Hauser. The third. A noble given birthright of land and title in the 13th century sounds good. The 13th century. I'll just put it like they put it in there. 13th century of our Lord. All right. So we got that out of the way. That's probably the hardest part for me. First experience is a little different than most experiences in that it's a broad summary of the vampire's life before becoming an undead thing. Experience will be slotted in the character's first memory, which we've done. Next, create at least 3 mortals and add them to the vampire's record sheet. These mortals will have a relationship with your vampire, relatives, friends and lovers, enemies, mentors, debtors, nor anything else appropriate for the time and place you have chosen. Describe each character in a few words. Know that these characters can and should be very important, but will not be around for long. Okay. So we'll head back over to the dock. We got the first world problem of too many tabs and windows open. Put a little space in there. All right. So we're going to be creating our mortal characters. So, of course, we're going to have John Hauser the third. Oops, I don't know why I put dash third. My father. And current Duke. Duke of Hauser. Duke of Hauser. And then let's have we'll do an Elizabeth, because that's a royal name. An Elizabeth Glass. I am due to marry her and merge 2 great houses. And then I'll put Mary here. Marry her. And then finally, let's do. So we got a lover in a way. Father. What did it say in the PDF? Debtors, enemies, mentors, anything else probably with the time. Let's just do it like a best friend, like a good friend. We'll say Michael, nice common name. Phillips. Former stable boy, now full-time tender of horses, lifelong best friend. You're my best friend. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bold these so that they kind of stand out a little bit. Then we got our 3 immortal characters. John Hauser III, Elizabeth Glass, and Michael Phillips. Alright. Could have done Elizabeth Wilson. We'd have a Wilson Phillips going on in here. Alright, so the next part. There we go. Describe each character in a few words. Done that. Know that these characters can. Okay. Give your vampire to be 3 skills fitting their lots in life, and 3 resources they obtained while still mortal. Remember, resources can be almost anything, big or small. A resource is a resource, whether it's an obsidian knife or a fleet of warships. Okay? Go ahead and do that. Skills. Okay. So I'll put little check boxes next to these because the certain prompts in the game will ask you to check skills, which basically means you can't use those again. But you can mark them off. So, what skills? Well, family has horses, so I'm gonna say horseback riding. 1 skill. Another skill. Not too familiar with 13th century England. So I don't know if this is fully a feudal land. I imagine it was probably pretty feudal. Like I said, I'm not too brushed up on this era in history. Like would I be a trained swordsman? I mean, that would make sense, right? For nobles to train like that. Like, I mean, I'm sure they had knights that swore fealty to certain houses. Like I said, I'm not too clear on the demographics of that, but I guess we can just we can stretch the truth a little bit because you know this is a story that's happening in my brain. This isn't a Paramount production, and it doesn't need to be that historically accurate. But that holds me up. It's a way of being a perfectionist, even though I'm not a perfectionist. But that's just the way my brain works. All right. Yeah, let's just do it. Trained swordsman. And life of the party. There we go. resources. We have land. Where do we have land? Land in the foothills. Won't say exactly where it's at, but we have land in the foothills. Put a little dash here to kind of let it stand out a little bit. What other resources we have? What kind of resources rich people have back then? Land in the foothills. I like kind of like abstract stuff. Not really like pragmatic stuff. Like I could say I have a sword. A horse. I mean, a horse would be a good resource to start off with, but how long a horse is gonna last as time moves on? Horse, you're not gonna have a horse for long. Especially around a vampire, you might decide to eat the horse eventually. Or drain the horse, I should say. Alright, land in the foothills. We'll say we have a boat. And a nearby harbor. And then we'll just say access to wealth. I mean, all right. We are John Hauser the Fourth. I need to fill out name up here. Why isn't my cursor blinking? Where's my... Okay, that's weird. John Hauser the Fourth. Okay, so we got our skills, we got our resources. Let's head back over to the PDF. Alright, then create 3 more experiences with one experience each being entered into a separate memory. Each of these experiences should combine 2 of your vampire's traits. If your vampire has a longship, I don't know how to pronounce that, as a resource in the character Gundar, a Viking Jarl, like a father to me, you might write an experience like Gundar takes me on my first voyage aboard the longship. That word. His touch calms me when we first leave the side of land. Okay. So it talks about writing memories in here and to say what it is, who was there, blah blah blah, and then afterwards say like how your vampire felt about that. So jump back over to the dock. So we got memory 2. We don't need a bold. Like horseback riding can, like you can tie a skill to a resource or to a mortal, or a resource to a mortal, or a skill to a mortal, or a skill to a resource. Horseback riding seems to fit with Michael Phillips, so so we'll say Michael and I spent R, that was the wrong R, childhood learning to ride together. I am skilled, but he always reminds me that he is better. There we go. So Michael is a better horseback rider than John Hauser the Fourth. All right. Oops. Next memory. We can do trained swordsman. We can do life of the party. Seems to fit with Elizabeth. Life of the party. Why is it bold? Although I was surrounded by many laughing nobles, or many nobles laughing at my bizarre stories. It was her laugh that drew my attention. Elizabeth remains as radiant as ever. There we go. That is memory 3. Memory 4. We can do land in the foothills. We can do access to wealth. We can do trained swordsman. And tie it to John Hauser, my father. Did it say we had to use skills? Let's see. It just says combine 2 traits, so that could be a resource or a skill. Father insisted that we constantly rode our lands. Lest we forget what we have gained and have been given. So what I'm imagining is John Hauser III would take John Hauser IV and possibly any other sons or daughters around on the lands, riding the foothills of their lands, so that you never forget what you got. Don't lose it. And we're about to lose it. All right. Back over to the PDF real quick. Let's see. Lastly, create an immortal. This is a creature that gifted or cursed your vampire with unlife. Create a mark and explain that, and explain how your vampire became a creature of the night. One such immortal is Baron Haumuller, an Austrian noble and vampire. He stole the deed to my land. Corresponding experience might be, I duel the eerie Bon Haumuller across the roof of the abbey. He nearly cuts my head from my shoulders, but I do not die, which leads to the mark. My neck is permanently broken. I wear tight scarves and walk slowly to maintain my dignity. Once you finished with your vampire, you will have 3 skills, 3 resources, a mark, at least 3 mortals, 1 immortal, and 1 experience in each of the 5 memories. Alright. Come back. So we need to create an immortal. And then we need to create a mark that shows why John Hauser IV is now a creature of death, or undeath, I should say. Immortal. I want the immortal. I don't want the immortal to be like a noble, like somebody from a family we knew. Like something simple, like a gardener. Well, a gardener wouldn't make sense because because a gardener, usually works during the day. How about like an assistant horse tender, like maybe somebody Michael hired, and yeah, turned out to be a vampire. Like how would you know? All right, give them a name. Tell you what. Instead of me racking my brain on this, let's just go to fantasy name generators. Simple enough. Easy peasy. Alright. Names. English names. Her name was Abigail Brown. There we go. How easy that is. No, I need to find what tab I was back. Abigail Brown. Hired by Michael to be assistant horse tender. She killed all the horses. Okay, so we can do a memory, and in that memory, we earn the mark. What should the mark be? Maybe Abigail has a taste for horse. I don't know. That night. That dreadful night. I found Abigail covered in the blood. Am I spell Abigail? Yeah. Covered in the blood of our beloved horses. Their corpses littering the stables. I stood no chance. So, like, I'm imagining that John Hauser here, the fourth. I keep reiterating that it's the fourth, not the third. John Hauser the fourth discovered Abigail after Abigail had like this feeding frenzy in the stables and drained all the horses. And she probably assumed that she would do that and be gone by the next day, but the young Hauser somehow wandered into the stables and discovered this brutality. And yeah, what did Abigail do to him? Like, that left a mark. That, or like, what kind of mark did John Hauser get to show that he is undead? Stood no chance. I mean, glowing eyes is a thing. Maybe smell of stables. That's a good. I like that one. That's what we're doing. All right, so we're just gonna put it all went black. When went. Ah, thank you, Google. It all went black. Now I always smell of. Is there a term for horse droppings? Is there like a technical term for horse droppings? Because like John Hauser is always gonna smell of the stables of straw and horse droppings. Horse patties. I know cow patties. I don't know about horse patties. Marks. Always smell like a stable. Straw and horses. No matter how much soap he uses to clean. Alright, so that is the creation of our vampire. So then we get into the prompt section of the PDF. That's the dice. I'm going to need those here in a second. Alright, prompts. Okay, start counting at prompt 1 on the next page. Subtract a d6 from a d10 and move that many prompts. Positive number means you move forward. Negative number means you move backwards. You may not move backwards past prompt 1. Just encounter prompt 1 again. A 0 keeps you on the same prompt. When you land on a prompt, resolve the first entry at the top of the page. If you land on a prompt again, you resolve the next entry. If you land on a prompt 3 times and encountered all 3 entries, just skip to the next prompt. Okay. We're going to start on prompt 1 here. Okay. And then we're going to roll a d10 and a d6. We're going to take the difference. Alright, so we're going to roll d10. Ooh, a 10. d6. And a 6. What is that? A 1 in 30 chance of doing that? Let's see. 1 in 6 and 1 in 10. That's 2 in... No, that's 1 in 60. Beat the odds there on the first roll. So 10 minus 6 is 4. So 1 plus 4 is 5. So we're going to start on prompt number 5 here. Okay. You murder someone you love or respect rather than let them expose you. Kill a character, check a skill. If you have no living characters, kill no one and create a beloved mortal character who you have betrayed. Okay, I think I have something that just popped immediately in my head because we have to check a skill. Murder someone you love or respect rather than letting them expose you. So, first thing that popped in my head was horseback riding. And then Michael Phillips, of course, popped in my head because that's like John Hauser's the fourth riding. I'm just gonna call him the younger Hauser, the young Hauser. Michael Phillips, best friend and stable partner. So let's kind of like just flesh out this scene. I'm not gonna write out the whole scene or anything. We're just gonna speak it, and then I'm gonna put the memory in. I'm pointing over here to my other monitor, but you can't see what's over there at the other monitor. I'll point straight. Put it in the Google Doc, the memory. So the scene I imagine is so the young Hauser obviously gets attacked by this vampire Abigail Brown and probably leaves him for dead. And I believe the next morning, Michael Phillips comes and finds all the horses and finds what looks to be a dead young Hauser, the fourth. And, I'm sure the clergy comes out and they're like, this is the work of demons, the work of the devil. And later on that night, they've already cleaned up young Hauser and might have him in the house. Because, back then they didn't take the dead away. You weren't usually immediately buried or anything like that. A lot of times you know the deceased of loved ones would stay in your house. You know, you would clean them up or whatever because that fell to the family to take care of the dead. Um, so I imagine, you know, bodies in the house, and then uh, young Hauser rises from the dead, and Michael sees this and freaks out. Um, and probably tries to run to tell somebody, and realizes there's something wrong with John Hauser the Fourth. He's not alive. It's not. He's dead, but he's up and walking around, and obviously lucent. Um, tries to want to run away. Freaks out. Um, maybe John catches him and is like, "You can't tell anybody." You know, like, look. I'm still me. I'm still me. And maybe even Michael gets a look at, you know, some fangage going on there. Uh, and it's like, no. Michael tells him, no, you're the devil. You know, you've been possessed by the devil. Um, you should be dead. Uh, you're not welcome here, creature. And I think they kind of like tussle, and then like John throws him with that, you know, superhuman vampire strength, and like Michael goes flying like 20 feet and out into the lawn, and Michael freaks out and runs and gets a nearby horse. I know Abigail killed all the horses in the stable, but I'm sure there's more horses now available. People have been coming to and fro. And Michael goes running off down the road, and I believe John gets on a horse and gives chase, and you got this little chase scene going on in the movie, you know, horse chasing horse, and they're back and forth. These are two very skilled riders here. But yeah, you know, Michael was always better than John at riding, except for this night. And John catches up to Michael and puts an end to Michael. Yeah, so goodbye, Mr. Phillips. You are a good friend. So kill a character. What we're going to do is we're going to take him from this side. We'll put him over on this side. All right. A little note here. Killed by John. Young John. Young Hauser. Okay. And then we check his skills. So we're going to check horseback riding. All right. Then we need to put a memory of that. And I think it makes most sense to put it in memory 2. So when you write memories in this game, they need to have something in common with other memories. At least one other memory in the in that memory block. Or at least one other experience, I should say. So memory is the whole block. Each memory holds 3 experiences before you have to start forgetting things, I believe. But we could always check on the rules on that. I'm pretty sure it's 3. All right. So we'll say Michael freaked out at what I had become. He rode. I rode faster. This day, I was the better rider. We'll miss you, Michael. All right. So let's head back over to the prompts. I'm going to roll the dice again. D10, D6. That's a 1 and a 3. So when the D6 is higher, your number will be negative. So we'll go back 2. So 5 minus 2 is 3. So we'll get a prompt 3. All right. a loved one discovers your condition and works to help you. Create a resource which represents their assistance. Create a mortal character if none are available. Alright, so who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Hauser's beloved Elizabeth? Or is it gonna be the elder Hauser, the Duke? I can see both of them helping. I don't see the Duke being a hateful father in any way. I mean, he would take his children out on rides throughout the land just to remind them of what they have. Yeah, for some reason, like, although I want to go the Elizabeth Glass route, I think I'm going to go with the Duke route on this one. Loved one discovers your condition and works to help you. Yeah, so I'll say that, like, not too long after, this might be the next evening or whatever. The Duke, like, maybe they've even discovered that, well, obviously they discovered that the fourth is missing. His body's missing. And perhaps they found Michael Phillips, just off the riding path, out in the woods, and obviously been drained of blood. I don't know, what the superstition would have been back then, whether, they knew about vampires or not. But I think, the Duke would send out searches for trying to find his son's body. Like, maybe they don't know that it was his son that killed Michael. It could have been, some other devil, and then took the body for unknown, ungodly reasons, right? So yeah, I'm gonna say and then the Duke, finds young Hauser, perhaps hiding out in the woods, perhaps even in like kind of a state of shock. I mean, that's obviously traumatic. You died, came back to life, but not living. You're undead, and then you kill your best friend in a rage because you do still have self-preservation, I guess. Probably need to hydrate a little bit. All this talking, I ain't used to it no more. Yeah. And then finds him, and it's like, it's okay. Okay, like, the love from a father to a son is still there. Even though, his son's now this monster. And let's see. Coverage your condition and works to help you. Create a resource which represents their assistance. So what would a Duke do for his son? Because, like, obviously you can't bring him back out into like a public space or anything like that, or let, like, other people see him like that as a vampire. Because then the rumors will spread, and the next thing you know, you got, a mob, or I don't know, the Inquisition was around then, but the church, beating down your door. So, maybe he builds him a hunting lodge. There we go. Like, he builds a hunting lodge, kind of out in the wilderness, and says, "Oh yeah, we're gonna use this for hunting parties and stuff." So, he hires some folks some laborers to go build a hunting lodge out here. They build a hunting lodge, but it's not for hunting. It's for the young Hauser. Okay, there we go. Put this down here in memory 4. Father builds a hunting lodge in the wilderness. At least that's what he told others. I live here now. Where would I be without him? All right. So when you're doing these experiences, it's good to kind of put a little thought or feeling at the end of it. Like what's your character's mental state about what just happened? Um, for every experience. Okay. Back to the prompts. So I'm playing through this like kind of quick. Um, previous times I've played it, I've like played it over the span of days, um, even weeks. Like not because it took that long to play, just because I, take a week off between playing these prompts or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get through a whole playthrough in this stream, just by kind of speaking out the scenes and throwing the memories down real quick. Let's go ahead and do another roll here. We'll do this prompt and then we'll take a quick break because probably need to get up and stretch a little bit. It's been about an hour I've been streaming, so. Alright, so let's see, we'll go D10 and a D6. We got a 10 and a 6, okay. Second time we rolled that. I wonder if this roller is a little off on its randomness. That's ahead 4 spots, so that'd be the prompt 7. Okay, your body manifests some trait. Oh wait, we missed something. I just saw it right before I clicked off. Oh, I gotta create the resource. Let's do that real quick before we forget. So resources, hunting lodge in the wilderness. Alright, back to the prompt. We're on 7. Your body manifests some trait related to the vampire that created you. How do you become more like them? Create a skill that reflects this. Oh man, how do we become more like Abigail Brown? We don't know much about Abigail Brown. All we know is that Michael hired her to be a horse tender, and she murdered the horses, and then she murdered young Hauser here. Wow. Well, we do know she has a taste for horses. Maybe that's it. Maybe young Hauser gets a taste for like pack animals, like large mammals. Right? How do you become more like them? That's it. Gain the taste for, like, I don't know, what would you say? Like ungulates? I don't know the term. Pack animals, livestock. There we go, livestock. Develop a taste for large mammals. I would just say large mammals. That's how we become more like them. Create a skill that reflects this. We can smell large mammals, including humans. We can smell large mammals. Okay. Works for me. Where do we put that under? We got to put it under the memory 5, right? So how does this manifest into a memory? Like, what's the experience like for young Hauser to realize that he can smell cows and horses and deer and people from a distance, not like up close? Because I mean, of course you can smell other people and horses and stuff when you're close to them, like from a distance. Like, I need to go that way. I need me some cow blood. I'm going that way. Yeah, I think he's kind of out here in this wilderness lodge, and like he smells something like I don't know, maybe like the smell of blood, like that coppery metallic that that blood smells like. And then like also like maybe the smell of like a musk or something, like a metallic musk. And like he could smell it in one direction, and perhaps he goes over to like maybe it's like a window in this hunting lodge in, you know, do they have windows in the 13th century? I don't know. Like I said, history, architecture, all that stuff I do not know. Um Either way, he goes out and looks outside and sees uh you know, like a deer, like a very very big deer hanging out in like, he knows that's like his scent has, he has a new ability, and that's the ability to smell large mammals. Yeah, he doesn't smell the squirrel in the tree. He doesn't smell the chipmunk. He smells that deer. I mean, you probably like you know, in the blink of an eye, like, you know, the scene, you don't see him. He just like the wind kind of rustles, and then next thing you know, you see, you know, young Hauser, the vampire, feeding on a deer. That's how the scene plays out. Uh, for uh, I gained, or I realized that the scent of large game is never too far away. Nor will my hunger last me long. So basically, the way young Hauser sees this is that, you know, with this new ability for him to be able to smell and track large game, he's never really gonna go hungry as long as he has something to feed and this talent. Plus, you know, to be able to move super fast like a vampire. Of course, I don't have that written down as a skill, but I'm just assuming that's a skill of a vampire. So what we're gonna do is yeah, let's go ahead and take a break. Probably gonna take like a 10-minute break or so, and you know, kind of get up, stretch, and because I've been doing this for about an hour, but we'll come back and we'll definitely finish out this game. So just sit tight. I'll be back. Feel free to grab yourself a beverage or snackages or even check out some other streamers while you're at it. I'll be right back, folks. Okay, folks, we are back. So we're gonna get back into this. Um, we're gonna continue on. We're on prompt 7, and we're gonna go ahead and roll the dice here. Roll a d10 and a d6. So 4 and 4 is a 0, so we don't move anywhere. We just go to the next prompt, or the next question on this prompt. It says, people see a horror in you that you cannot perceive in yourself. What mark do you possess that you do not know about? Create a mark in a suspicious mortal who has seen it. What do the people call you when your back is turned? Ooh. So, a suspicious mortal. Who would know about? Because for some reason, I would imagine that Elizabeth doesn't even know that Younghauser is like the only person that knows really is the Duke. Create a mark in a suspicious mortal who has seen it. Oh man, maybe another relative, like maybe a brother or a sister. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a sister. Let's see. Let's get a name going here. Let's see. Rosa Hauser. That's what it's going to be. All right, so Rosa Hauser. See a horror in you that you cannot perceive in yourself. What mark do you possess that you do not know about? Create a mark at a suspicious mortal who has seen it. What name do people call you when your back is turned? Rosa Hauser. My sister. So let's go ahead and come up with a mark. We already smell like a stable. What's a mark? A good mark to use here. Maybe like maybe it looks like there's something crawling under the skin. Skin occasionally moves. Like something like things moving beneath the blankets. Like maybe like sometimes Younghauser's skin will like literally like look like there's like bugs crawling underneath it. Ew, that's creepy. My sister, who is suspicious of me and has seen my skin move. All right. Let's see. Where do we put this? Maybe in memory 1? Seems like it makes sense in memory 1. Memory 1 is I'm John Hauser, son of Duke Hauser, given birthright, land, and title. Maybe like Rosa is like the next one, was like the next child to receive the title, Duchess. Like she'd be the Duchess of this area. So like the scene I see playing out is like perhaps the Duke and Rosa come visit at the hunting lodge one night, but the Duke keeps quiet about my undeath, Maybe Rosa was away, like studying abroad or traveling abroad when all this happened, and now Rosa's back. And but yet she's suspicious. Like she saw the thing crawling underneath my skin and is suspicious. So what do people call you when your back is turned? Like what is a nickname for somebody that has something crawling under their skin? Skin crawler. I know, it makes your skin crawl. Um Rosa notices that something moves beneath my skin. I can tell she is suspicious of what I have become and nickname. She calls me blank. Blank. Bugs beneath the skin. Something beneath the skin. Itch. She calls me itch. Now. Alright. That'll do it for that memory. Head back over to the prompts. Let's roll again. D10, D6. It's an 8 and a 5. That's plus 3, which will bring us up to 10. Alright. The stars pinwheel above you in the night. The seasons are a blur. You are as an automaton. Unconscious of the passage of decades. A century passes. Strike out a memory. Strike out all mortal characters. So this is the first one that has us passing in time forward. So let's do that. Let's strike out a memory. So I'm going to take this one. I'm going to strike it out. Next. Strike through. So that one no longer counts in the this memory. So this memory is now clear. Let's see. Century passes, strike out a memory, strike out all mortal characters. So all these characters are gone. And we'll just all say they died of old age. And I no longer have memory of Elizabeth Glass. Alright. Do we need to write an experience for this one? So let's see. I think you need to write an experience for all of them, if I'm correct. Let me double check. Experience cover a particular event, but the amount of time represented by the event might vary drastically. Experience might describe a few seconds or it might cover 200 years. Because every prompt will create an experience. Okay. So yeah, I'm assuming every prompt means an experience. So how would I write a prompt or write an experience for the passage of a century? So we're now in the 14th century, so 1300s, around there. Nature changes slowly. Unlike people who age and die. Who change, age, and die. The forest looks the same as it did a century ago. There we go. All right. Move on to the next prompt. Roll a d10 and a d6. So there is no longer any mortal characters that I am associated with. We got a 4 and a 6. We got to go back 2. Okay, so that'd be prompt 8. You are recognized for what you are by another creature like yourself. Create an immortal character. Lose a resource. Gain a skill. What did you lose to them? What do we lose? So we have a hunting lodge in the wilderness, access to wealth, a boat in a nearby harbor, land in the foothills. I think the easiest thing to lose would be a boat in a nearby harbor. So we'll strike this one out. So memory, I could probably put this one in vampire memories. Let's create an immortal. Let's highlight Abigail Brown so that it stands out. The name generator. Josh Day. Josh Day. So Josh Day. How does this one work out? I could see it being like somehow he just shows up at the hunting lodge one day, and I think immediately like John would recognize Josh as another creature of the night, another vampire, and like invites Josh to, stay, maybe keep me some company, because I imagine John might be getting a little lonely here, living a century out here in the woods while everybody he knew as immortal is now gone. And yeah, I think Josh, like, I mean, they hang out for a while, and Josh finds out that John has a boat in a nearby harbor, and I think Josh just disappears and takes the boat, and I think the skill that John learns is never trust another immortal character. That's the skill. Never trust an immortal. There we go. So, another vampire. Who says he is older than England itself. I can't put stole my boat. Oh, yeah, I can put stole my boat. This is just a description, but it's not a memory. We'll put this in the last one. A vampire named Josh Day visits me in the lodge. He stays for a while and gains my confidence until he leaves. He takes my boat. Bastard. Alright, done with that one. Let's go with... Alright, let's create a diary here. So, in case any of you are wondering, you can have a journal or a diary in this game, or you can keep memories. So, we're going to put this memory. So, this is a full memory because it's got 3 experiences in it. So, we're just going to put memory 5 here. We'll just call it memory. And then we'll clear out this one. And then under resources, we will put diary. And you need to describe it. A leather bound journal. Embossed with the Hauser crest. Leather bound's not one word. Leather bound. There we go. Probably not even a hyphenated word either. Alright, let's continue on. Let's do another roll. Alright, a 1. Looks like we may be going backwards again. And a 1. We stay right here. Alright. What do you gain advantage? You gain advantage over an immortal character. What do you take from them? What do you learn? Convert a memory to a skill. Strike out that memory. Gain a resource. Ooh, this one's kind of complicated. You gain advantage over an immortal creature. What do you take from them? What do you learn? Convert a memory to a skill. That's tough. Convert a memory to a skill. Strike out the memory. So what memory would we convert to a skill? This one has who I am. And then Rosa notices something. This one's about Michael. Horse riding. Oh, okay, yeah, that one's good. We can scratch this one out. And let's see. Convert a memory to a skill. Strike out that memory. Gain a mysterious resource. So what do we take from one of these immortals? Either Abigail or Josh. Alright, let's So I'm thinking about memory 2. Showing you my thought process here. I'm thinking memory 2 because it has to do with horses, right? So I'm thinking the skill I'm going to add is horse trainer. Like, know how to train horses, like maybe even like equestrian type horses or war horses or, you know, something along those lines. Like I know how to train horses. And I'll strike out this skill. And then, but we need to gain a mysterious resource. What do we get from, I'm not going to take it from Josh because the last prompt, Josh took my boat. I think Josh just like took my boat somewhere. I think Abigail's still around. But what is it like? What is the mysterious resource that a vampire would have? Another vampire that we can take? And what you gain an advantage. What do you take from them and what do you learn? So what we take from them can help us learn something. Oh, I know. We could take like a docket that has other vampires in it. Like it's got list of vampires and where they live. We like she has that. And so what we learn is that there's vampires everywhere. Okay, yeah, we could do that. All right, so oops, a docket that lists various vampires and their current locations, or we won't say current, we'll say their last known locations. All right, and then we're going to gain a skill. Skill is going to be horse training. Okay. So we won't remember how we know how to train horses. Let me go ahead and do this. We'll strike this one out. So whenever I strike out a memory like this, young Hauser doesn't know. Like, doesn't remember that. Like, Elizabeth doesn't remember. He doesn't know. Like, if you asked him, who's Elizabeth? Don't know. If you ask him, who's Michael? Don't know. Or, how do you know about horses? Don't know. No, like, he will know this stuff whenever he reads his diary. About the vampire Josh Day and all them, but yeah. So we can put this in memory too. Gain an advantage over an immortal character. What do you take from them? I saw Abigail roaming the woods, and I followed her back to her lair. I found a docket full of the names and locations of others like me. Who knew evil was so wide? Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. All right, guys, I gotta get off. Right now, I was gonna play for about 2.5. My goal was at least 2 hours. But looks like my time has been cut short. So all right, you knew evil was so widespread. Okay. What prompt are we on so I can remember? So when I stream again, I can jump right back to this prompt and we'll keep on going. We are on prompt 8. Second question. So let me make note of that on the sheet here. You knew evil was so widespread. This was prompt. Actually, I don't need it right here. We'll just write it at the top. Last prompt 8. Question 2. Okay. All right. So that should save. If anybody's out there is watching, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Just got back into streaming. I haven't streamed in a long while. So let me know if the stream's bad, if the stream's good. I don't know. Like my internet has been choppy for a while, so I don't know how well the stream went. I don't know if the stream was choppy. My internet's just all like I hate my internet for some reason. It sucks. And like, I pay, good money for the internet, but for some reason the connection running out to this house to the pole or whatever is crap. And I kind of live semi-rural, so it's not the easiest thing to get Comcast out here to fix it. Every time I come out here, I don't see anything wrong. Everything looks good. But it is what it is. So, yeah, let me quit rambling. And yeah, I will catch you all later. I don't have a set schedule. I got the burps now all of a sudden. I don't have a set schedule, so I'll be on. Um, I do like to complete stuff before I jump to other things. So like I probably won't be on playing a game or anything. I don't know. I might. We'll see. I will be streaming some Wildermyth. It's a new game I've gotten into. I've uploaded some stuff onto YouTube. If you click down in my section, I think you can find my YouTube channel. I've uploaded some of that, but like I said, I got tired of editing, so I'm just gonna live stream that stuff. But yeah, let me quit rambling. I gotta run. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, I hope to see you all around in the future. Peace.